Hello everyone and welcome to EDT 503 Module 5. So now we are officially at the halfway point. So here's what we're up to this week. Obviously, still continue to work on the common assignment. I know it's a big topic in everybody's mind, and I'm watching some great posts and things using it in Moto groups. Some people are using different chats and so forth. So I'm glad everything's working out well for the most part with our two groups this semester. So everything's due in week 6, all right? So please just be aware of that. So read the articles and watch the videos contained in the folder. This week we're going to focus on Common Core, and we're going to talk a little bit of close reading and how close reading, no matter if you're an English teacher, a math teacher, a foreign language teacher, history teacher, science teacher, all of these aspects still apply. So I'm going to ask you to research and read a scholarly article of your choosing that relates to the material. We've done it in the past, and try to integrate that into your post. And please post preferably the file with your post. But here is the actual prompt. So a major emphasis, right, in Common Core is close reading. Students are required to go beyond just, literal understanding of the text. And as I mentioned, no matter what you teach, this is important. So I'm going to give you now a lot of technology tools that you can use to sort of implement close reading no matter what your discipline is. So those are the kind of the questions we're looking at this week, okay? Your post is due by Wednesday, and proof of post certainly. And here are our deliverables. I'm trying to make this week really important for the common assignment as well. I'm going to ask you to create an activity that uses one of the tools presented to close read a selected text of your choosing. I want you to share with us a text, also share how you would use this with your students, right, and how technology facilitated this. Here's the nice situation. The group can do one activity, so you can make this part of your group project. All right, so if you want to work on this together or try to use this, divide this up as part of your responsibilities for the group. So if one person does this, but as a group does this, it counts for the whole entire group, okay? So post your activity to the week 5 group wall, and also turn your proof of post to the turn and drop. Really only one person has to submit it for the group. Not everybody has to actually do this. Just make sure everybody's names are clearly marked, and everybody will receive credit for it, okay? And then certainly continue to post, reply to our students' initial posts and comment on their close reading activity. I know that might go into week 6, so there's always kind of overlap there. So that's kind of what we're up to this week. So when we go to the folder and in Moto here, there is the action sheet. I have some really brief articles on what close reading is. This is the example done a couple years ago by the state. It's kind of still the benchmark example how to close read a text. And then I have this Google Doc here that I use with my Clarence teachers. I teach a lot of small courses on this. This is actually one that I did for a webinar for the college. So if you want to watch the whole webinar, you can actually watch the video right there if you really wanted to. You don't have to though. And I give these examples of how to use things like Adobe Acrobat, things that we've all used in the past, and Reader to annotate a text. And then here, look this over, is actually an example of how I use those tools with my own students. So here's a article that we marked up together and really this was for obviously higher level, high school students, but how I use those to color code, text, annotate text. The pop-ups were important. They symbolize things. You actually open that in Reader to actually have those pop-ups work, certainly. All right. Then I also talk about Google Docs and even like Word, and here's some videos on how you can use those tools to actually annotate, highlight text. Pretty simple stuff. They talk about Pull Everywhere. We already did Pull Everywhere earlier in the course, and Quizlet, and like Noodle tools and QR codes. But these videos talk about how you use those tools specifically for close reading. Okay. Then there's some new tools like Digo. It's a really good tool. I think a lot of you are going to like this. It's kind of an online highlighting, color coding, annotating text tool that can be used in a Google browser. And also Cami, which is another one that's sort of a online browser, great for Chromebooks or anywhere you work. Also Word Clouds. I think you're going to love Padlet. Most people don't really know about Padlet. It's a great tool for creating walls of words and phrases of evidence of anything that you're working on. So Padlet.com is really cool. And then there's some videos how to use those tools, okay? Then I get into things like Lucidchart and MindMeister. If you like to do any sort of graphic organizing, I love Lucidchart. Please look at Lucidchart. They are a great company. They're expanding and they're doing wonderful things. They offer great free educator accounts where you can actually sign up as an educator. They give you all these student accounts. Students can log in with their Google accounts to create an account, super easy, and they're great mind mapping tools, all right? And also Glogster. I love Glogster. We go back to Glogster in EDT 506. but Glogster now is charging more than they used to. But I have some examples here of glogs that my students made, so you might want to look at those. Some great ways to close read a text. Just for example, this was from a Civil War class. And wait for that to pop up really quickly, hopefully. And we actually had them looking at primary sources of old historical newspapers, and they had to create sort of this visual interactive based upon their reading of the text. So they had some really good quotes, and they sort of analyzed the quotes as they did this. They put together some really nice visuals. They did some screenshots of the newspaper text, and it was a great way to kind of take an article and really kind of become creative and analyze it. And it was a really fun lesson with them with that. Okay, so there's some videos on how to do graphic organizers, and this is just the promotional stuff that I use when I ever go anywhere, always promoting the program, so don't worry about that. So there you go. So there's some really fun things this week on Common Core close reading of text. All right, so that's our week together, everyone. I hope this makes sense to you. Please let me know if you have any questions, and have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.